Straight to Melbourne, where 3 children are in hospital with life-threatening injuries following a house fire overnight. Reporter Natasha McFarlane joins us now from Sydenham in the city's northwest. Natasha, just tell us what happened out there.
Look, fire crews were called here last night and arrived about 9:30. They arrived to discover this house behind me with smoke billowing from the roof and large flames clearly visible. Now, they rushed in to obviously extinguish the fire, but rescued 3 children in the process. Now, those children were treated outside in the street by those fire crews and then rushed off to hospital in a critical condition. Now, police say these children were very young, all under the age of 5, and one of them being a toddler. So neighbours have described this as a totally horrific situation. People have described hearing loud explosions during the fire and saying it was quite a scary and felt like quite a dangerous situation. Now, police are looking into what exactly happened here. They don't know what started this fire. They're also looking into whether or not there was anyone around at the time or at home. So there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. Neighbours have, as I said, described it as a shocking situation considering the age of these children. Now, it's not clearly visible from the front how much damage or how serious the fire was. All you can see is some smoke damage really from the gutter. But video that has been supplied to us and that we've seen, large flames coming from the back of the house. So a really awful thing to wake up to this morning, and a terrible thing to happen in this community.
Yeah, I bet for neighbours and people that know the family, absolutely awful. What's the situation now, Natasha, on the street? We can see that area cordoned off behind you. Are there still investigators there taking a look at what's happened here?
Yeah, look, it's quite quiet this morning. Look, there's still fire trucks, police, they're still here. The arson and explosive squad are here investigating, looking into it. There's no one in the house at the moment, but, fire crews and investigators have been going in and out this morning. People have been leaving to go to work. Neighbours still quite affected by what's happened. So, a bit of movement, but quite quiet here this morning.
Natasha, thanks very much for the update.
Both the Department of Veterans Affairs and the Australian Defence Force are expected to face scathing criticism when the final report of the Royal Commission into Defence and Veteran Suicide is released later this morning. Former soldier and Independent Senator Jacqui Lambie, who has campaigned strongly on behalf of Defence families, joins us now from Parliament House. Jacqui, very good morning to you.
Good morning.
We had Nick Aldis, the Commissioner, on the show earlier, and he hopes this report will be a line in the sand. Are you as confident?
I think that right now, because of what everybody's had to go through and relive their experiences over the last 3 years, is that I think we have to have confidence that, we're going to be able to do this. We've spent 3 years doing it, Michael. There is still a lot of work to do. I know that myself and many others out there, they'll be feeling like me this morning. We're feeling that bit of emptiness. Not sure where it's all going to go from here, whether or not we can trust the government to get the job done. Trust is a very big thing for veterans, especially when you've been told that when you're serving you will be forever looked after if you injure yourself, and that is not given to you in the end, and you have to fight years for that. Then that you start to lose trust and faith in the whole system. So, mate, I don't know what else. I had nothing else left. We couldn't do any more inquiries. Couldn't do any more committees. This was it. This was the pinnacle. So it has to make change. It's not a choice. And if future governments they need to make change, because people just don't want to join. This has had a horrific effect on people that, may have thought about joining, that are going, well, we're not joining now until it's fixed. And then you've got people in there that still aren't being looked after that are leaving. We have a problem here, especially with defence.
What does effective change look like to you?
I think effective change looks to me. I'm not sure what you do with top officers are in there that have been in there for 45 years to change culture. That is a problem for me. I've called for the shutdown of the Australian Defence Force Academy, because if you want to change culture, then everybody should be going through the same lot of training to begin with, and leaders should be selected over 2 to 5 years. I do not see that Royal Commission making that recommendation, but sure as hell that is what I would do. The other thing is, the biggest problem we have is the transition, and Defence is not budging. It is not doing anything for the last 3 years on the transition. If you want to give these guys half a chance of surviving in the civilian world, then you have to be able to transition them properly. And that means if they are still capable, making sure that they have civilian qualifications that are equivalent to outside so they can get the jobs that they need, and also making sure that their claims are done before they leave Defence. Start putting the pressure on Defence and DVA to do that job, and I think that would make a significant difference. The worst thing that you can leave a veteran in, the worst situation you can leave them in, Michael, is simply as this, is when you medically discharge them and then you say to them when they get out, or a department does and says there's nothing wrong, and you can't put bread and milk on the table for your children. That's the end of it then, and that's the truth of the matter. So it is coming to that transition, and Defence, as much as I believe DVA is trying to turn a corner, Defence is not. Defence has been really disappointing. They've still played the old game of cover up, nothing to see here. It is them that needs to change. It is them that needs to change. I will be on their tail for as long as I'm up here, I can assure you, but seriously, even if Tasmanians were kind enough to give me another 6 years, I don't want to take 6 years to get these recommendations in. I want to see these recommendations implemented as soon as possible, and that's over the next 2 years. Let's get this job done once and for all.
And it goes to culture, as you say. You clearly don't have the confidence the Defence Force, especially the top echelons of the force, have the agility, have the capability to change, if as you argue, cultural attitudes are so deeply set in.
Yeah, it's institutionalisation. So, you know, you are taught that. You want to spend 30 or 40 years in Defence, of course the first thing you're going to do is to make sure that they're covered, so you look good, so there's nothing out in papers. That's normal behaviour of Defence, and I just don't see a shift in that right now. Whether or not the new CDF will make changes and he'll be able to do the job, but quite frankly, I don't hold a lot of confidence in the Defence Force in changing right now. But I can tell you it won't go without me and others, the family members, the mothers out there who have lost sons and daughters along the way. It won't stop us from fighting like hell.
Jacqui Lambie, big day for you. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And if this segment has raised any issues for you, you can always contact Open Arms on 1800 011 046 or any of the other services on screen for assistance.
Let's get more of the morning's news with Emma.
Thanks, you too. Further financial assistance will be made available today for Tasmanians affected by last week's severe weather. The government grants of $2,000 per household per week are on offer to those whose primary residence has been without power for more than a week or is uninhabitable. The payments will be capped at $10,000. The New South Wales Government says all revenue from new point-to-point speed cameras will be put towards improving roads. The cameras will be rolled out in regional parts of the state in a 6-month trial aimed at reducing the road toll. 227 people have died on the state's roads so far this year, 2 more than the same time last year. Authorities are expected to provide an update today on the search for a man accused of pouring hot coffee on a baby at a Brisbane park last month. Detectives have confirmed they've widened the search to include law enforcement agencies in other states and overseas. The boy suffered significant burns to his face, arms and legs and is still recovering in hospital. Western Australian Police will today resume their search for a missing man believed to have disappeared while canoeing along the Murray River. Francis Frank Nelson was last seen leaving his campsite in Nanga Brook, 10 kilometres south of Dwellingup, about 4:30 Saturday morning. Police and SES conducted an extensive land and water search yesterday. The official results of the Northern Territory election are expected to be declared today. The Country Liberal Party has already claimed victory and will win 17 seats in the Legislative Assembly. Labor will hold no urban seats, having retained just 4 remote seats. 3 independents and the NT's first ever Greens representative will sit on the crossbench.
And Kendrick Lamar will headline next year's Super Bowl halftime show. It will be the rapper's second time on the halftime stage in 4 years. He was a guest artist with Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg in 2022.
My name's Kendrick Lamar, and I'll be performing at Super Bowl 59. Will you be pulling up? I hope so.